Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with your review on the Target/Toys R Us Canada exclusive Marvel Legends series Guardians of the Galaxy comic Yondu. Now, as I just said, I did get this guy at Toys R Us Canada. I paid around $36.99 Canadian, so certainly steep for what is essentially a complete Sunfire reuse with a few new parts here and there. But that being said, I like this figure a lot, and I was really hoping to get a comic Yondu in the Marvel Legends line, and as far as that stands, I think they did quite a good job. But without further ado, I have a decent amount to say on this guy, so let's get into the brand new Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy comic Yondu review. Now, as always, before I get into the figure, I do want to start off with the packaging for this guy. He's in the standard Marvel Legends plastic-free packaging design. On the front, we have a rendered image of the figure. Behind that, we have a comic image of the character. Up top, Yondu's name. Down below, we have the comic Guardians of the Galaxy logo. Choking Azure, don't choke. Plastic-free packaging, Hasbro logo. On this side, we have another comic image of Yondu, along with the Marvel Legends logo. On the back, we have another render of Yondu. This time, he is shooting his arrow, or shooting nothing, as he doesn't have an arrow in his hand. But there's the arrow right there, being his one real accessory besides the bow and I guess the quiver. And then other than that, you have some legalese on this side. On this side, you have another render, kind of just a vanilla pose for Yondu. Marvel Legends up top, that same Guardians logo, Marvel Legends 4+. But other than that, let's get into the Yondu figure himself. Here we have Yondu along with all of his accessories, being a quiver, an arrow, as well as his bow. Now, the bow, I believe, is a new sculpt. I could be wrong on that. I just don't think I've seen this before in the Marvel Legends line. We just have a gold color for the actual bow, and then for the strain is kind of a translucent color. I like what they did here. It kind of straps around on the top, but they did paint it through, so that is definitely a nice bonus from Hasbro. On the other side, you have that same thing going on, although the paint is not as good as this side. As you can see, that gold looks really good on the top, and this side, it is kind of just painted on the translucent part. But other than that, not much more to go over with the bow, and you can't actually put the arrow in there. It doesn't really work. I mean, you can kind of, but that's just stretching the bow, and then the string kind of connects here, so you can't. You get what I mean. It just looks awkward in general when you do have the arrow in. But for the arrow, nothing too crazy. I believe this is a new sculpt as well. Very round top. I don't know how much that will do against any enemy, but what do I know? On the back for the feathers, I guess, you don't really have feathers. It's just red here, and that looks perfectly fine. And then here you have a little bit of a circle where you would put the string in. Now, you can just put that in Yondu's hand. You don't have a in-between in his fingers to attach the feathers or whatnot, so that is definitely a bummer, but still you can get poses just like so, or whatever you want to do. Now, for the quiver, this is the same one that we did get with like Hawkeye and I believe some other figures, but this time it is in a brand new color, being gold and red with a little arrow sticking out. That is the same as the Hawkeye previously, but nothing too special here. You just poured it into the back of this body. Now, this body is the Sunfire, but I do think it works perfectly enough for the Yondu. Now, with all the accessories out of the way, we can focus on the Yondu figure itself. Now, I do want to start off here with this head sculpt, of course. I really like what we have going on here. When I wanted them to do a comic Yondu, I kind of just envisioned what it would look like, and I really hoped for like a stoic expression, as that is what he looks like most of the time in the comics, and I think this captures that likeness very well. The ears are pointy, which is accurate, and the photoreal here also does quite a good job. Now, an interesting part of this head sculpt is you can actually remove the fin. That is how it came packaged. When I got him, I kind of was just feeling the bag with the actual figure. I was like, wait, where's the fin? Does mine not come with one? But no, it's in the accessory baggie. And how they did the fin is very interesting. You have a little bit of connecting points right here, and that kind of just goes in the head sculpt. As you can see, if you look a little bit close at it, it is kind of hard to see. There is some holes in the head, besides the actual big hole in the head that we are all looking at. So that kind of just goes in like so, and it fits in very well. It's not going to come off or anything. And the fin, I really like what we have going on here. It isn't just straight or anything. It does have an angle, and that once again is fitting for Yondu. Although, if you look right here at that part, it kind of has a little bit more of a hole, but I guess you could kind of push that down to get rid of that. I don't know. That is probably my only gripe with the head sculpt, but other than that, it looks really, really good. Now, moving down to the rest of this figure, as you can see, and as I mentioned, he is using the Sunfire body mold, and I honestly think that is perfect for Yondu, although it would have been nice to see him with that Renew Your Vows 2-pack Spidey mold, although at the same time, I don't know if Yondu needs all that articulation. It still would have been nice because we do have the pins here, although they don't look that bad, all things considered. I really love the color of gold they went with on this figure. The gold that is on just the parts here, it's kind of just a standard Marvel Legends gold. There isn't a lot of, pop to it, or shine rather, but on this paint right here, it is really shiny. I don't think it captures it that well on camera, but trust me, the star, this strap right here, all of it is absolutely amazing. I love the color that they went with. That star right there does look very good. It is applied very well. Then moving down to the other side of the figure, you do have these two bands, one right on his bicep and then one on his forearm. That is accurate to the design, and that kind of does cover up one of the pins, so that is, I guess, a little benefit of that. You can can lift this up and you can see that one gold strap that I was mentioning does kind of continue and stops right there. I like how they did that, but that does get covered up by this band right here. And that isn't getting in the way of the quiver as I showed you earlier, kind of just goes in on that one back hole. And that is supposed to be the strap for the quiver, but it's not technically attached to it. It is just supposed to be a optical illusion. And as far as that goes, it does work pretty well. And that line does continue all the way into the back of the figure. But moving down, you do have just the standard Sunfire legs, and they work well enough, like I said, with the rest of the body, but nothing too crazy going on. And then for the boots, I believe these are old. I don't think these are new. I feel like I've seen these before in the Marvel Legends line, and they do work well enough, although you don't get that much ankle movement going up at least, but that is besides the point. But other than that, I think that's all I really have to say with this Yondu. So without further ado, let's get into his articulation. Now, as for the articulation on this Yondu, it is exactly what you would expect, as it is just a Sunfire body mold. But that being said, the head does go back that much, and the fin doesn't really get in the way, as that is where the head would stop anyways without it. Plus, you do have a little bit of an inlet there to stop the fin from getting in the way. Head does go forward that much, little bit of tilt, full 360, arms go out that much, down, and full 360. And of course, you have the beautiful butterfly joint range, in which this body is always known to have. Full 360 bicep swivel, and then the double jointed elbows go in that much, hands go up that much, down, full 360, and then ab crunch goes forward that much, back, waist cut, full 360, legs kick forward that much, back splits. Also, I didn't mention, but both of these hands do have the same horizontal hinge, upper thigh cut, double jointed pinned knees, boot rotation, and like I said, you don't have the best range for the ankles going up, but still, I guess it's fine as it is. Back that much, and of course, beautiful ankle rockin' pivot. Now, first for comparisons, here we have the Yondu next to the retro carded Fantastic Four High Evolutionary figure, as well as the comic Star-Lord, review for him out now as well. Here we have the comic Yondu next to the MCU Yondu, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Star-Lord figure. Here we have the comic Yondu next to the comic Nova, as well as Quasar. Here we have the comic Yondu next to the comic Rocket, as well as the comic Drax. Both are from the Entertainment Earth 5-pack. And lastly, for comparisons, here we have the retro carded Wolverine figure, as well as the 80 Years of Marvel Captain America figure. Now, as for my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends comic Guardians of the Galaxy Yondu figure, overall, I am quite pleased and happy with him. Even though he is just using a Sunfire body mold, I think the new parts work with that well enough, and I'm just really happy to have a comic Yondu in my collection in general. The main gripe with him, for me at least, is probably the combination of the quiver, the arrow, and the bow. They really never have managed to capture that perfectly in the Marvel Legends line, and here that is no exception. Hopefully they will manage to fix that in the future, but with all the figures that we have gotten already, it probably is too late. But as for my ranking on this figure, I do really like it, and I think I'm going to give him like a 8.5. I think that is a fair rating. But as always, let me know what you think of this guy in the comments down below. Are you going to pick him up? Are you not? Do you like him? Do you not? He's certainly going to be hard to find, as he is a Target exclusive in the States and a Toys R Us Canada exclusive here, which is where I got him. And as far as that goes, he is sold out at all of my Toys R Us, so he probably will be a hard figure to find. But I think if you look hard enough, I think you will probably find him eventually. But that is all that I have to say about that. Let me know what you think of him in the comments below. As always, I have been Jagger Collector. He has been Yondu Odanta, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.